It's easy to talk, obviously, about companies that have compliance requirements. In modern times, any company that relies on IT, there's operational risk involved. We can integrate across API, countless other systems.
Hello, and welcome back to Klik TV. Here we talk to businesses and discuss the way they utilize technology for better business success. I'm Karin, and my guest today is Klik's very own CTO, Shraga. Oh, thank you. It's awesome.
Good to see you, Karin.
As we were just chatting about, and it's always so much fun when we get together to talk about all things cyber and managed services. But before we get into it all, tell me about your family. What do you do when you're not solving the solutions Klik needs?
Oh, goodness. So I live with my beautiful family up in Parkton, Maryland. My amazing wife, Rafi, and my two kids, Adam and Vivi. They keep me pretty busy between school and sports activities and a whole bunch of other extracurricular stuff. So really that's my real full-time job. My other full-time job is here at Klik as CTO, and in between try to stay healthy and active where I can.
That's good. So would love to hear how your role started and how that's evolved over time.
Yeah, I'm glad to talk about it to somebody other than the tech team. But yeah, no, I started off as an on-site engineer for really what was supposed to be a level 1 role that has evolved pretty significantly over the last decade. It grew from the sense that we started adding clients, our services evolved. We started adding techs, and so just an on-site engineer turned into manager, and manager turned into a different type of leader, and yeah, now ultimately I'm responsible for all technical operations here.
It's a pretty amazing journey. I know with that, and we obviously talk quite often about cybersecurity and the challenges and the landscape, how it's always evolving. So can you help explain the kinds of cybersecurity services that we offer?
Yeah, absolutely. Really, it runs the gamut. We offer a lot of base core services that are a lot of just fundamental best practices, but at the same time, we're really built to adapt to a given client's needs, whether it's compliance or operational.
Are there any sizes of businesses that you don't think need to worry about cyber? No, really. I mean, it's easy to talk, obviously, about companies that have compliance requirements, defense contractors. Ultimately, it's low-hanging fruit, but in modern times, any company that relies on IT, there is operational risk involved. And so it's definitely important. Well, it's interesting. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So I spoke with a company the other day. They are a plumbing business. They were wondering why they would ever need it. I said, well, how do you do your payroll and your invoicing? So can you give an example for a business that doesn't think of themselves as an IT company or a company that uses a lot of technology?
Oh, goodness gracious. Again, it's across almost any vertical.
Yeah.
We've come across clients from whether it's healthcare or legal, or you mentioned plumbing, HVAC, and there's a lot of assumption that, hey, I don't have any compliance, or I don't have a requirement for this or for that. Unfortunately, a lot of times people learn the hard way, and it's after like a ransomware attack or something along those lines. But really, again, if you're using email, if you're using computers and everything to pay your bills, to pay your vendors, to charge your clients, you're out there. You're out there.
Because it's not a guy in his basement. It's nation states.
Fully, absolutely. It's well-run machines, well-run organizations.
So what would it look like for, I'm gonna ask you for two examples. A company who has become a victim of a ransomware attack and is completely new to Klik.
How would it look to them if they, all internal IT or no real official resource?
Good question. So ultimately, obviously we have our processes, we have our run books, we have our incident response plans, but you're also only as good as your deployed capabilities. So if this is a new client potentially coming in that suffered some sort of breach or security incident,
they don't have logs.
Potentially,
Logs.
yeah. So it really starts there, but we would obviously want to figure out what's affected, what's been isolated, and you're sort of running through your response plan. But
so would it be fair to say it slows down the response time if a company doesn't have some type of managed IT or security in place when an attack occurs?
Absolutely. If you're not running this in-house, as unfortunately a lot of companies that do have internal IT, if you are not proactively preparing and planning and have policies and procedures in place, then you're looking at extended time for isolation, recovery, remediation, et cetera, and obviously time is money.
You said a phrase that I picked up a few years ago that I love is, what's your pain threshold? And really looking at the setup. So paint the picture for me for a client who's, they're signed up for Managed Complete, Protect Plus, and we'll say cyber operations. And there's an attempt to breach their system. What would this look like? Experience for the user.
Well, you listed off pretty much the basic, cybersecurity bundles that we like to put out there. It has SOC operations, it has threat detection, threat response. I won't go into the user awareness training and all that fun stuff, but that's definitely included.
Okay.
But in a scenario like what you're describing, at that point, we have a system that's ingesting all of the logs. If there is an attempt, odds are that there's a multitude of alerts that have likely gone off. Again, a lot of what security is proactive in the sense that we're going in regularly. We're reviewing the policies, the conditional policies that are in place. Are they strict enough?
So is this alert coming from like a Microsoft, or what if they use Dropbox or Salesforce?
In this case, in our case, it would not matter. So the system that
alert would still.
Absolutely, yeah. We can integrate across API against, I don't even know, countless other systems. So it's not just your Office 365 or your Microsoft AD, it's your whole corporate enterprise footprint that we're really looking at, just like the bad actors.
So much more protection, and
that's what you're after.
Helps with insurance and everything else. So I would just love it if you could share with the audience some simple things that they can do to safeguard their business, their operations from becoming victims of a cyber attack.
Sure. Well, other than the most obvious of calling Klik, of course, really I always say to folks, other than just Googling, maybe NIST and proper frameworks and best practices, you have to understand where the threat is coming in to your organization. You have to understand what is your perimeter.
What are you protecting against?
Exactly.
Or what are you protecting?
Exactly. And so oftentimes folks think of maybe a firewall or, a web firewall for a web application. A lot of it is through the users. I know it's something that's been talked about more and more.
More than 80%, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So that's really where you start. You have to educate your users. It has to be holistic within an organization. I think the users need to know that people are taking it seriously so that they take it seriously.
And they're the first line of defense.
Absolutely. And they're the biggest targets oftentimes, especially nowadays.
Thank you. Is there anything else that you'd want to add?
Goodness.
Before we wrap here?
Thank you to my team. Honestly, my favorite part of working is working with the amazing teams that we have here across support, NOC, SOC, sort of you name it. So thank you to all of you guys.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
If you haven't heard yet, we have launched a new full stack marketing agency, Klik Digital. We provide a range of digital marketing services, from digital marketing strategy to website hosting, content creation, video marketing, blogging, SEO optimization, and so much more. Click the link below for more details, and thank you for watching Klik TV.